Hey, welcome to another segment of the Vegas Dice Kings. I'm here with Pat and Pending,
And
myself,
Danny
Danny Craps, and the audience over there, Miss Kim. And we have a special guest next to the cheese. It's Barbarella, but not from the movie, but from Caesar's Palace and beyond. So, Barb, listen, tell everybody how it all started for you in gaming.
Well, I started at the El Cortez downtown. My mom was a hostess cashier there. So I came in and I started running Keno. And I kind of thought, gee, I think that dealing looks like something I want to do. So I broke in after work. I would go and they'd let me break in there at the El Cortez, and then I got myself from there into the Union Plaza because they were all kind of the boys and the Dons were kind of related. So I ended up at the Union Plaza and met my girlfriend there, Lila. She was the one that got me into the Hacienda. She was gorgeous. She was a Hawaiian gal, and she just jet black hair and olive complexion, and she easily got herself in to the Hacienda and brought me with her. She had to have, because we were the only girls. There were no girls on the strip at that time. They were mostly all male. Reno had women dealers, but they did not. So we got ourselves into the Hacienda. And from there, I graduated to the MGM, and they told me to go in, and the guy that did the hiring name was Vic Wakeman, and he was about 3 feet tall. And they told me to go in and say, "Hey, John Wayne, can I have a job?" Because I older than him. So I did get the job, and then I went from there to I went to Caesars from the MGM.
79?
Yep, 79.
She was at Caesars 79, but tell them the story when you guys lost at the Union Plaza, what the guy would do when you were right on your Keno ticket.
Oh,
You're a loser.
Oh, he would just, that meant the POS meant we were a piece of shit.
A POS?
Yeah, losing day at the Union Plaza. They all went for a drink at the Golden Gate after work, and their shift boss would write on a piece of paper POS, and it was stuck on them.
Oh.
So actually, at the bar there at work.
That was another thing. You could drink at work.
Yeah, right after you got off.
Of course.
I remember them days.
Barb, tell us though, when you broke in, how were your male counterparts treating you? Like when you broke in the El Cortez, we all have nightmares, our memories of the El Cortez, and the carpet. I'm sure the carpet had a distinct odor about it.
Ooh, yeah, it was terrible. But I just broke in at the El Cortez. I didn't really
Stick around.
deal there. I did mostly the Keno running when I got to the Union Plaza. But they used to come behind us and like kick the back of our heels, whisper something. I never really had too much of a problem with that. A little bit at the Hacienda, I kind of had a problem with one of the bosses, but it really wasn't bad for me. I really didn't. Where some of the gals I've heard stories, where they had to sleep with the boss before you can get the job or whatnot. But
no, that's what Jimmy Cheese had to do.
Yeah, and let's see
What games did you learn to deal, Barb?
Blackjack and roulette, and then of course everybody dealt the big six. It's a great big wheel that you spin. That's just a carnival game, we call them. The newer games that they bought in, we called them carnival games because they were not the normal blackjack, craps, and roulette type games.
Yes, yes. Did you have any experience meeting Judy Bailey, who was the owner of the hacienda?
No, I didn't meet her personally, but they were there when I was working there. They owned the place when I started working there. Judy and Doc Bailey, right?
Doc Bailey, sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So where did you end up breaking in dice at?
Oh, I didn't deal dice.
She wasn't a dice dealer.
Oh, you wasn't dice. You were always in 21 roulette.
Blackjack and that, and then those other silly little games that they bought in.
Oh, I see.
I see. Yeah.
Like what? Let It Ride?
Yeah, there you go.
Do you remember the Big Six dealer at Caesars? It was George Belcher.
George Belcher, yeah, George Belcher. Did you know George?
I don't believe I knew.
No,
I might have
George-
seen him, but I don't.
Barker. I think he had like 12 kids.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, what about the Asian skinny guy? What was his name, Barb? The old man, the Asian old man that always would be on the
Stanley Fu.
Stanley Fu, yeah.
Stanley Fu.
Yeah, not one of the Foo Fighters. No, he wasn't.
He used to always say, "What the foo?"
What the foo? It was a skinny Asian guy, and sometimes he would go off. I don't know where he'd go. He'd cross the Great Wall, and then he'd be screaming, wouldn't he, Barb?
He was a character.
He was.
Yeah.
He
About
was.
120 years old.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, he was
Yeah.
around during the Ming Dynasty.
Yeah, that's right. He was something else. Stanley Fu.
Yeah. So at the hacienda, what was the climate there for women? Were there very many women?
It started out, my girlfriend and I, she left the plaza right before me, and then she was the only female there, so she got me in. She told him, if I'm going to work here, I have to have another one of my girlfriends. You have to hire my girlfriend, so I got in there. And that's how we ended up at the hacienda. And then that was a great place. I really had a good time there.
At the hacienda.
Yeah.
Didn't they have
Yep.
waterfalls when you walked in the ferry front? They had waterfalls on both sides? Or the water ran down over the rocks, didn't they?
Yeah.
At the front entrance. Yeah, I remember that as a kid
Yeah.
going in there. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty neat. That was way out south. That
It
was the last one out there, wasn't it?
The last one, and to give the audience some kind of an idea, that's where Mandalay Bay is right now.
Yes.
Back then, the hacienda, there was nothing around it. The
No.
only draw they had when I was younger was red fox used to appear there.
Yeah. And they had the go-karts.
Yeah, they
The
had
go-karts next to the hacienda.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah,
they
the
did.
go-karts. I know because I used to go in go-kart.
Yeah.
I thought I was Mario Andretti Gonzalez.
But I know when we went out there as a kid, it was like we were on the other side of the world. It was out in the middle of nowhere out there.
It was really out there, yeah.
Hey,
Oh, the Tropicana was there.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
before the Tropicana, then the Hacienda was the last one out, but that was even
Yeah.
further out.
It was. The Trop was on Trop and what was...
Bond Road and Las Vegas Boulevard.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they just last week.
Yeah.
Yes. And Barb, describe in detail how lavish and beautiful your dealer's room was at the hacienda.
Actually, we kind of didn't have a dealer's room at first. When I first started working there, we went to the coffee shop, but we were to eat anything we wanted.
Anything you wanted.
Oh yeah,
They had good food there, too.
Yes.
we did. It was great.
Yeah.
They had steak, lobster, whatever we wanted.
Yes.
Wow.
Good, yeah.
Wow. What were tips like for you?
It was better than the Union Plaza was. We averaged about 45, 50 a day.
No, that
And,
was good back then.
If we did overtime, once in a while we'd do some overtime, and you got to go for yourself if you did overtime. And
Really?
Las
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't have no clue.
they were good to us. They would see if there was some good players on what game they were on, and they'd send you over there so you could make some money.
Wow.
And I'd walk out of there with, $300-400 sometimes, just staying an hour overtime.
Wow.
Wow.
Did you have to zook any of the bosses at all?
No.
No?
Well, what do you mean by zook?
Oh, zook means to lay off a little cash, in appreciation. But I didn't know if you had to do that as far as in the 21.
The 21 is different than dice.
Yes.
The dice, they kind of take care of the floor man or the box man.
Yeah.
But we didn't do that in blackjack.
So you got to keep all your money and go home with a smile on your face.
Right. Yeah.
And the dealers never bitched about working overtime, did they, at the hacienda?
Oh, they loved it. Yeah, that's when we made a bunch of money. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And then until the IRS got involved, and then that was a nightmare.
Nightmare. Do you remember any of the bosses at the hacienda? Anyone that was particularly nice to you, or characters in those days?
Yeah, there was Bones, we called him. Warren Bonin was his name, and he was a character. He, let's see, what else? Who else was there?
Did you have any local players? You're all tourists.
They were mostly, they flew them in on these junkets. That's when, what's his name? Before Terry Lanny? Oh, who was it? Dobie Gillis was always in there.
Dobie Gillis?
Big Gillis. Wow.
Wayne Hickman?
Yeah, Dwayne Hickman. Yeah.
Before he was Dobie Gillis, he was Maynard G. Krabs.
No.
No, that was,
No?
It was Bob
yeah. Right.
Lavery Gilligan.
Oh, sorry, I must have sniffed some paint.
Dark guy. He was a dark-haired guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Bob Denver.
Bob Denver, yeah. Had a brother named John, didn't he?
Son.
Son.
Dwayne Hickman, your brother.
Dwayne Hickman, yeah, Dwayne Hickman, yeah. He was,
That's 90s.
is he still alive?
Their brother. Now, Dwayne just passed away about 2 months ago.
Oh, wow.
He was, I think, almost 90.
Wow.
Wow.
But yeah, Barb was saying that mainly there was junkets came into the hacienda that like the Dunes had. There wasn't a lot of local players.
So-
Back then, there was not a lot of people in town, really. I mean, there was no local casinos. There wasn't like Stations casinos where people are going and getting points and getting credit for playing bingo and slots. There was just not
The population was,
small.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
explain a little bit, what is a junket? What's a junket rep do? What's his purpose? So
Well,
the
they
people
usually-
know.
What it is that somebody knows a lot of players. They like gamblers from Chicago, from New York, and they would get together with the casino and arrange like airfare, rooms, and meals, with the understanding that they would bring so much money to gamble with. One of the stories I've heard about the Dunes was there was a junket in, and I don't know where it was from, but they were winning, and they left to catch their flight, and the Dunes called the airport and told them to postpone the flight. And that's how strong the casinos were back then. The airlines postponed the flight until then. They brought them all back to the Dunes, and when they all lost,
And they could go home.
magically the plane was ready to go.
Well, back speaking of the Dunes, one of the best junket reps around was Big Julie Weintraub, which you knew his son, Paul Weintraub, who ran the at the
Baccarat
Wynn.
room.
Yeah,
he was at the Wynn over there running the Baccarat room, I heard.
But Big Julie Weintraub, he used to bring all of these guys in from Chicago, New York, all over the place. And, of course, you'd see him come to the coffee shop, Big Julie Weintraub, yeah.
And I tell you another one you might remember is the ones they call the up and backs from California. They'd bring in the buses.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the up and backs.
Stay here for just one day.
Yes. They come in for one day, bus them in from California for one day. They got their food. There was no room but they'd gamble. And then at around 5, 6 o'clock at night, they were all getting on the bus going back home. They were there for one day. Yeah, the up and backs, sure.
What was the minimum and maximum bet at the hacienda at that time, Barb?
I think it was. I think you could bet $1, and the maximum. I don't even think we really had a maximum because nobody ever
bet that big.
Yeah, nobody ever bet that much.
Silver Slipper was 500 was the maximum, but we never saw anybody bet anything near that.
Right, that's probably what we were too.
Yeah, most of the time they were right around $100 maximum, and then they extended to 500 after things started. More people started coming in and gambling. But you're right. Yeah, usually $1, and then they went to $3, and then to $5. Now they're $15, $25. All depends what hotel you go to, I guess.
That's
Different
right. I
tables.
worked at the El Dorado Club in downtown Henderson.
Oh, that was a wild place.
On Water Street?
Well, what happened was the Union Plaza, what they would do, they would farm you out because they owned all the places. So if somebody called in sick on the next shift at the El Dorado Club, they'd say, hey, Barb, you want to pull a double, and I'd say, okay, and I'd drive out and go there. And
Isn't that the place where some of the dealers used to wear hard hats? Because there was real orangutans in there.
oh, I got a hold of one. She was terrible. I had a double deck. That's when we had double decks. And she was busting my ass all night long, and she was cussing at me and just miserable. Anyway, this went on for hours, and I had just had it up to here. And anyway, I just had Bobby Newman was behind me, my boss, and he was kind of keeping an eye on her, make sure she didn't get way out of line. Anyway, when she grabbed my arm and knocked the double deck out of my hands and the cards were flying everywhere, I grabbed her by the throat. I had her down on the ground, and I was choking her. And he let me go for a while. He let me choke her for a while. Okay, that's enough.
That's a good old cowboy days.
Yeah.
Give you an idea. Barb's about 4'11", so
That's funny. Yeah,
That's funny.
Go
So
ahead, choke her for a while.
Did you feel good when you were choking her, Barb?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Took one. She took one for the team, all right.
What was her reaction when she finally came off the floor?
The security just threw her ass out. She was out the door.
Gone.
Yeah, she didn't stay in there.
Did any of the dealers say, "Hey, I got someone else I want you to choke out"?
Yeah,
They
they
were
put her on the big heavy games. Anybody
Yeah.
getting out of line, go put Barb over there, will you?
Yeah,
Yeah, she'll take care of it.
I'm sure the El Dorado Club was a unique experience.
Yeah, a little different down there.
It was.
Yeah.
Henderson people, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Of
Yeah,
course.
And Henderson, of course.
for any people that are new to Las Vegas, if you get a chance, it's Old Henderson. It's called Water Street. You should really take time and go down there some evening, especially if the weather starts getting nicer. They redid the whole area. They redid all the hotels, the restaurants. There's so many great places to eat. I'm not a spokesman for Henderson, but I've been in the town a long time, and it's totally different. They did a really spectacular job with downtown Old Henderson.
Oh, they got plenty of parking and everything down there now.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, that's really nice.
It's great. Have you gone back to the El Dorado Club? Is it still there?
I haven't been there since the 8th grade picnic. I'm sure it's still there.
The 8th grade picnic. Well, so you were choking her when you were in 7th grade, right?
Yeah, that's a funny story.
That's funny. Yeah,
But that's the way it was.
Yeah, that's right. Do everyone frequent Henderson? I think that was well said, Mr. Cheese, about Water Street.
Yeah, that's nice to get them into the mix of things. Says they had a lot of nice stuff going on out there too.
Excuse me.
You know, a lot of nice stuff.
So, Barb, tell us, what was your next stop on your wrestling career?
What, did you know anybody get into Caesars and all?
No, I didn't. It was kind of like they were hiring at the time for some reason. And when did I go there?
Yeah, I can't imagine Caesars putting out a thing to hire. It was a great job.
Yeah, I mean, they needed to hire. They were opening up some pits. They opened up a couple more pits, and they put in
The sports book.
yeah, they put that back there, and then
Excuse me.
they needed to hire. Oh, geez, about a lot of dealers they needed to hire. So that's when I got in there. I didn't really have any juice.
Well, how did you find out about it, Barb? Did someone tell you, or did you just go in
Yeah,
there cold turkey?
Yeah, things get around fast.
Yeah, the word spreads real quick.
You was in the women's room somewhere, and you overheard a conversation in the women's room, maybe?
Yeah, possibly.
So who auditioned you?
Oh.
Was it Mike Villardo?
No, it wasn't him. It might have been Chucky or who else was there? Yeah, or like some of those pit bosses. It could have been like Nate Robinson.
Uh-huh.
Or
So did you audition just in blackjack or that or both or?
both. Yeah, I dealt both. And then they said, if you'll hear from us, and I did. Can you come to work tomorrow? Sure.
So was that a much better job over there than it was Hacienda?
I made more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of good times at the Hacienda. The people, were your friends and stuff. But
Sure.
of course, you got to go where the money is.
Yeah.
What
Well, you made friends over there too.
Yeah.
Sure.
What was your impression on your first night at world famous Caesar's Palace with your gold medallion on and your name emblazoned on your shirt?
Oh yeah. Isn't that terrible? I can't even remember the first day I worked there.
Oh,
That's Todd.
Well, go to the second day if you need to.
yeah, it was another thing that Caesars had our names embroidered on the shirt.
Yeah.
I don't think any other place
No.
does that.
Oh, you know what? No. The Hilton did.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Big Hilton when Elvis was there.
Yes.
That lets you know that you hit the big time when you get embroidered on your shirts. You hit the big time when you get that.
When you're permanent.
But just to be able to wear that apron around that said Caesars on it, that was just great, wasn't it?
Yeah. We'd go to the bar, and show it off.
Sure. Yeah, it's funny how that was. And it
Yeah.
was great to have everybody, when you came through the door and seen you wearing that apron, man, they were like, whoa, a Caesar, come sit down, they'd buy you drinks. Sure.
She'll talk good.
Yeah. Do you remember dealing to any famous people at Caesar's Palace?
Yeah, and I can't remember half of them. Terrible.
Any sports people?
Yeah, but you know what? I wasn't into sports that much, so I didn't know who I was dealing to. And, everybody else is like, oh, that's so-and-so, and I didn't know who they were. They were some basketball player. Usually you can tell the basketball guys because they were really tall.
They were all 6'10".
Yeah.
Well, everyone towered over you, Barb, anyway, even if
Yeah,
they were
everybody-
like
Yeah.
smaller. What about, do you remember dealing to Diana Ross?
I dealt to her. I was the only dealer she ever tipped.
Wow, I didn't even know she did
Yes.
that.
Yeah. She took me.
Wow.
I was the only crap dealer she ever tipped too.
Really?
Because I met her as a busboy at the Dunes when she was going with this gambler back in 1968, and really no one really knew her. Like, she was a skinny African American, and she used to come to the counter, and I'd bring her some of these free milkshakes with white powdered cookies, and we would talk. And so she had a reputation as being difficult, and she'd come over to Dice, she'd throw the money, and she has a nickname, Dee Dee, I believe it was. And I remember saying, Dee Dee, why you treat me this way? And she was like, how do you know that? So I reminded her that I was that busboy. I used to give her, and she gave me like $1,000 and invited me to the show.
Cool.
She said,
Yes.
you can come to my show because there is no mountain high enough. I said, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she was nice to me.
You were probably the only one.
The only one.
Yeah, I think I was, according to everybody I talked to.
Oh, Barb, tell the people about you knew he liked to play all the time. Cashman.
Oh, wah, wah, wah. Biggest crybaby on earth.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and tell him, Barb, he had all the photo concessions all over Las Vegas, him and his brother, Cashman Studios.
Cashman Studio.
Yeah.
And tell him how he would see a pretty girl and he'd jump off the game, he'd put his cards down and run towards her and say, I need you for good luck.
In the middle of the hand, he'd get up off the game and, honey, over here. Yeah. That was him, chasing him down.
Isn't that funny?
He was something. I don't think, did his, huh?
Totally his brother was totally opposite.
Yeah. I don't think, did he play his brother?
Very little,
Yeah.
but different. He was just quiet and nice guy. He nothing like Harris at all.
Yeah,
There were
Harris.
no the other Cashmans, were there?
No.
No, not the old-time family Cashman Cadillac people, and then Cashman Cadillac, Caterpillar and Construction.
Caterpillar Construction.
No, they were different. He had all the photography studios throughout the hotels.
I remember the guy. I just didn't know that.
Yeah, Harris. He would get off the game, like Barb said, and run to a beautiful woman, and then sometimes the boyfriend or husband show up, and he'd convince the boyfriend, let her come over there. I mean, he was good. He was smooth.
Yeah. He'd get away with it.
He would. Well, Barb, you had a long and distinguished career. I enjoyed working with you all those years at Caesars. You were there for quite a while. I was there for 22. The Cheese was briefly there for about 20 years, right? Weren't you, Cheese?
16 years.
16 glorious years, almost.
Well, you guys had some good times over there then. A lot
We
of fun.
did. A lot of fun at Caesars. Boy, a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of fun. Absolutely.
Now you sit there and you think back about how many people you used to work with, where they're all at now, you know.
Yeah. Well, I dealt to oh crap, what's his name now? The guy that the Indian guy, movie star.
The Indian movie star.
Oh
Ed Ames?
no, younger guy, skinny. Oh, what was his name?
Gunga Din?
No.
Tonto,
Yeah, Tonto. That's
Jay Silverhill.
yes, Jay Silverhills.
No, young kid.
Oh,
He was in La Bamba.
Oh,
Oh,
Allens.
oh, yeah, Lou Diamond Phillips.
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yeah,
You.
yeah, he was Richie in La
Yeah.
Bamba. Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
nice.
He was great. Yeah, real sweetheart. Yeah.
Good. He was a good guy.
Hold on one second, Barb. I also want to acknowledge some really nice people, Greg, Scott, and of course the owner, AJ, at Rancho Gold and Jewelry Store, right off of Rancho. Let me give you the address. It's 4590 North Rancho Drive, not far from John Stiles Studios. And let me tell you, they treat you well, whatever you're looking for. If you want to exchange gold or silver, or you're looking to purchase something, go see these people. They're really wonderful and they're fair, especially Greg. He'll treat you really right. And tell him that Danny Krapp sent you. And you'll shine bright like a diamond.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at 3 or 4 people that look like gold to me right now.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But little Barb, you had a long and distinguished career, and we used to. It's just like Pat and Pending said. You know, you saw the same people every day, year in, year out, then all of a sudden, poof, people either retired or they went to the big casino in the sky, and
That's true.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we want to thank you for coming on today.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very
Barb.
enjoyable,
Yes,
both of you.
yes.
It was very
My
nice.
It's fun. It's been fun. Been
Yeah,
a select.
Absolutely.
it was a
absolutely.
pleasure for me to meet you. That was
When I met
nice.
her, I was 27 and she was, 34?
Yeah.
We were kids.
Yeah,
Wow.
we're baby.
Wow.
Yeah, where'd the time go, right?
Yeah. Did you ever give her back her
Yeah.
jumping jacks, Cheese?
What?
Did you ever give her back her jumping jacks? You know, the little jacks with the ball and try to bounce it and catch them all? You have any words, Cheese? You have anything you want to say to anybody?
Just like I said, I told people before, give out the email address, and we would love to have people on the show that have been in the business, whether you were a cigarette girl or a cocktail waitress or any take at all from back in the day where you want to tell stories. It's an open forum here. It's we would like to expand the show, and instead of looking at our faces every week to see. And I think you have a guy coming on next week from work, right, Pat?
Yes, I do. Yeah, he'll be
Yeah.
coming on next week. The email address is vegasdicekings22@gmail.com. vegasdicekings22@gmail.com. So please write in. We'd love to hear from you.
Little Barb, you'll know next week's audience. Kenny Wheatley. You know Kenny.
Kenny Whitney.
Kenny
Oh,
Whitney.
All right.
Yeah, he is going to be on.
Yeah,
And,
Baccarat dealer, remember? From Caesars.
We're still
Kenny.
working on Angelo for you. He's a little gun shy,
Who?
so he's a little nervous. I'm working on it.
Who, Angelo?
Yeah, Phil.
Phil. Yeah, well, tell him I'll have a meatball sub for him if he does well.
Well, I really want to thank you guys for being on here and talking with us today. I want to thank everybody out there for listening. It really has been an eye-opener to hear about the Hacienda, Caesars, and Barbara and everything.
I like the fact that she got to jump over the table and choke somebody out.
That was
I've
funny.
wanted to do that my entire career, and she
Good girl.
did it.
Go.
Yay, yay. That should be National Women's Recognition
Yes.
Day.
Right there.
Yes. All the women out there that have been frustrated with players of that caliber, think about what little Barb did, and maybe you'll get away with it.
Yes.
And the boss let her choke her for
Let
a
her do it
while.
for a
That's
while.
beautiful.
How funny.
Wow.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
So long, everybody.
long.
Keep
Thanks,
watching.
Barb, Jimmy.
Send them cards. Bye, little Barb. Love you.
Bye.